Okay, this is going to be the review, final review for trigs. It's going to be law of sines, law of cosines, and area. Okay, all these are solve the triangle. All right, so I've been given two angles. I rounded them, 33, 47, and I've got that. Now, when you have these, this is going to be regular law of sines. Now, what's logical here, all right, is you can be able to figure out B just by basic 180 minus these two. So that's going to end up being about 100 degrees. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one angle, one side at a time. So I got sine of 33 over little a equals, the only one I can set it equal to is sine of 47 over 115. Okay, so what's going to happen is a is going to come up, sine 47 is going to go down, 115 is going to go out in front there. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and do 115, all right, sine of 33 divided by the sine of 47. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and round that. I'm going to say that's about 86. Okay, for B, okay, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to do sine of 100 over little b equals, I'm going to set it equal to that same sine of 47, okay, over 115. Okay, once again, 115 comes up, sine of 47 goes down, b goes over. Okay. So it's the same deal, 115 sine of 100 divided by the sine of 47. So that's going to be about 155. Okay, so 155. So since that's the regular law of sines, there's no need to check for a double. Okay, all right. Now on this one, I've got angle A is 67. Don't know B. Don't know C. I do know little a. I do know little b. Do not know little c. Now, since I have two sides of one angle and there's a match, since I have a and a, all right, I know this could be law of sine special case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find angle B first. So sine of big B over 20 equals sine of 67 over 18. Okay, so the 20 is going to go up there. So what I'm going to have, all right, I'm going to use a lot on the calculator because I don't have a ton of room. All right, so I'm going to have 20 sine of 67 divided by 18. Okay, now when I do inverse sine here of 1.022, all right, it tells me error. That means this answer will be no solution. So that's all I have to write with this, no solution. All right, and I'm done on that. All right, moving down here to part number 3. All right, once again, this is going to be regular law of sines. The reason this is going to be regular law of sines is because I have two angles. All right, I'm going to round that to 28. Angle B, I'm going to round that to 113. Need to get C. I've got A, I'm going to round that to 56. B, little c. Okay, so that's going to add up to about 141, which makes angle C 39. Okay, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first find side B. So sine of 113 over little b equals sine of, the only thing I can set it equal to is 28 over 56. So this goes up, this goes over, this goes down. Okay? So what I have here is 56, whoops, 56, all right, sine of 113 divided by the sine of 28. Okay? So that's going to be about 110. All right? And then I'm going to repeat that same thing here. So sine of 39 over little c equals sine of 28 over 56. C goes up, 56 goes over, sine of 28 comes down. Okay, so 56 sine of 39 divided by sine of 28. Okay, so that's going to be about 75. All right. Since it's regular law of sines, I do not need to worry about the other one. All right. Now, this one is law of sine special case. Reason being, I've got an angle on two sides and I have a match here. Okay, so I got angle A, which is 113. Angle B, I don't know yet. Angle C, I don't know yet. I know little b, which is 63. I'm sorry, I know little a at 63. I know little b, which is 54. And little c, I do not know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the only thing I can do is find sine of big B, okay, over 54 equal to sine of 113 over 63. The reason why I chose those was I had both of those and I had one of the other ones. So what this is going to be is 54 is going to go up there, okay? So I've got 63. All right, I'm sorry, I got 54 sine of 113 divided by 63. All right, so I'm going to do inverse sine, so sine -1 of 0.7890. Okay, and I get 52 degrees. So I did inverse sine of 0.7890. Okay, and that gave me my B, which was going to be 52 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to put a circle around that thing that I found. Because whatever you find with inverse sine, when you have special case, okay, you have to test it, okay, over on this other side. Okay, and we're going to handle that in a second. All right. Now, to figure out these angles, these two will add up to 165, which means this is 15. Okay. So what I need to find left, all I need to find is I need to find little c. Now once again, I'm going to use sine of 15 over little c. I'm going to use that same sine 113 over 63. If you keep using that and stay consistent, it's a lot easier. Okay? So the c goes up, sine 113 goes down, 63 goes out in front. Okay? So that's about 18. I'm going to round it up to 18. All right? Now, when I do law of sine special case, I keep everything that they gave me. So they gave me 113, they gave me 63, okay, they gave me 54, okay, all right. Now, what I find with my inverse, and I found angle B there, the way I get this one over here is I do 180 minus that amount that I got, which ends up being about 128. Now, the problem here is if I go to find angle C, we're already over 180 if you add those together. So this side doesn't need to be done. All I'll have is the answers for that side. Okay? All right. Let's move down to number 5. Okay? Now, this is a little different. Since I have two sides, but none of these match, I'm going to use the law of cosines. Okay? And now with law of cosines, there's only one solution. Law of sine special case is the only thing that you need to worry about multiple solutions. Okay? So what I'm going to find here a little differently, I'm going to find C. Okay? And you all will have a formula sheet that you'll be able to use on the test. All right? And the formula sheet says that what I'm going to do is I'm going to have C squared is going to equal to my two numbers squared minus 2 times 18 times 36. So it's times the sides times cosine of 30. Okay? So it's cosine of 30. Now, what you have to do is figure out what that is first. Okay? So 18 squared plus 36 squared minus 2 times 18 times 36 times cosine of 30. Now, what I want to do is I want to take the square root, okay, because that's c squared. I want to take the square root of 497.63. Okay, so I'm going to take the square root of 40 of that. Just use a couple decimals, don't round. Okay, use a couple decimals. You can round at this point. That's going to be 22. All right, for my answer. All right. Now, how do I get the remaining parts? Okay, what I can do is I can use the regular law of sines. So I'm going to do sine of big A over 18 equals, I'm going to use the one that I have, sine of 30 over 22. Once again, the 18 comes up, okay, because I'm solving for the angle, I'm going to use the inverse deal. So 18 sine of 30, okay, divided by 22, all right. So if I do inverse sine, 0.4090, okay, I get about 24, okay. So that's about 24 degrees, all right. Now to get the other one, since I have two already, that's 54. It's going to be 126 will be that final angle, all right? So make sure you take the sine inverse for that, all right? That will help you get that one, all right? Now, I'm moving on to this one, okay? As you can see, this is going to be law of sine special case because I have B, B, and C, two sides, but there's a match here, okay, with this and this, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and write these down, A, B, and C. B's 23, little b 40, little a don't know yet, little c is 26, okay? Now, what logically has to happen is that I have to find angle C. So I'm going to do sine of big C over 26 equals sine of 23 over 40. All right? The 26 is going to come up. Okay? So the 26 is going to come up, so it's 26 sine of 23, right? Divided by 40. All right, I'm going to do the inverse sine there of 0.2539. Okay? So I get about 15 degrees. Okay? So I get 15 degrees. So angle C is about 15. So that's the one I found. All right? Now, I'm going to complete the rest of this problem, but I'm going to circle that as a reminder. Now, that adds up to about 38, which would mean that'd be about 142, all right, to finish that off. All right? I just want to double check that. Yep, that's right. Now, to find little a, I'm doing sine of 142 over little a equals, I'm going to use the original one that I had, sine of 23 over 40. Once again, since I'm solving for the side, okay, all right, 40 goes up. Okay, 40 sine of 142, all right, divided by the sine of 23, okay, all right, that gives me about 63, all right, so that's that side. Now, since it's law of sine special case, all right, I'm going to write down everything that they gave me, okay? They gave me angle B, okay? They didn't give me little a, they gave me little b, it was 40, and they gave me little c, which was 26, okay? Now, since I found, all right, I found this one, all right, which ended up being 15 degrees. I do 180 minus 15, that's 165. Now, once again, very much similar to that problem we did before, this already adds up to be more than 180, so that means I can't use that side. I can't do that triangle. If it doesn't add up to more than 180, all you have to do is find this angle, all right, from the logic, and then set it equal to, just like you did down here, sine of whatever that is over A equals sine of 23 over 40. You keep everything the same. Okay? All right? Now, this next one, actually these next two are both law of cosine problems. Law of cosines, I know this one because they're all sides. So what I'm going to do is I have to find all the angles. Okay? All right, once again, you will have a formula sheet. Okay, so there's no need to memorize it. Okay? So in order to find angle A, use the cosine A formula, which basically says 19 squared plus 23 squared, all right, minus 15 squared, all over 2 times 19 times 23. Now, a recommendation on this: go ahead and find this first, and then find this second. All right, don't try to do it all at once. All right. So what I'm going to do there, all right, is I'm going to do 19 squared, all right, plus 23 squared, all right, minus 15 squared. Okay, so that's going to be 665 over 2 times 19 times 23, 874, okay? What I'm going to do is, just like when I do with, anytime I try to find the angle, I'm going to do inverse cosine. Now, to make this easier on yourself, when you do inverse cosine, okay, go ahead and just put parentheses around this fraction, 665 divided by 874, okay? And that ends up being about 40 degrees, okay? So that's angle A. About 40, okay? I'm going to repeat the process with cosine of B. So cosine of B is going to equal 15 squared plus 23 squared, all right, minus 19 squared. Now you'll have, like I said, you'll have a formula sheet, so you don't need to memorize it, okay? All right, so I got cosine of B, and I'm going to take the inverse of that, and I'm going to have a fraction, all right? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 15 squared plus 23 squared minus 19 squared, all right? Whoops, it's 233, okay? So 23 squared minus 19 squared, okay? And then 2 times 15 times 23, okay? So I got 393 over 690, okay? So I'm going to do inverse cosine, all right? 393 over 690. Okay, and that ends up being about 55 degrees. Okay, so that's 55, and then simple logic will tell you that's 95, this last one has to be 85, so they all have to add up. Okay, this also is a law of cosines problem. All right, I got angle A, angle B, angle C. They already gave me that. Little b is 39, little c is 50. Okay, Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to find little a here first. Okay? So I'm going to use this a squared formula, which is 39 squared plus 50 squared minus 2 times 39 times 50 times the cosine of 35 degrees. Okay? Once again, don't try to find the square root all at once. Go ahead and type all that stuff in. All right. Minus 2 times 39 times 50 times the cosine of 35. Okay, that's 826.30. And now I'm going to take the square root of 826.30. Okay, so that's going to be about 29. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the law of sines now to help finish this off. So it's going to be sine of big B. So make sure you take the square root of this when you get done. Sine of big B over 39 equals sine of 35 over 29. Okay, this 39's got to go up. Okay, and I'm going to take the inverse of whatever that result is. Okay, now I'm switching back to sine. All right, so don't get confused. So 39 sine of 35 divided by 29. Okay, and I'm taking inverse sine of that, 0.7713, and I get about 50 degrees there, or 51 degrees, or 50 degrees, and that's going to be 95 to finish that out. All right, so that is the law of cosines for that one. Okay, all right, find the area of the triangle. Okay, there are two basic area formulas. All right, one involves using sine. The other one uses just a side formula. Okay, and here's how you figure this out. It's very much like the law of cosines. If you've got an angle and two sides and nothing matches, then you can be very simple. And the area formula basically says, okay, and what they do is they use K for your area. I don't know why, but that's what they decide to use. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is 1/2. All right, since I have A, the formula says 1/2 BC. Okay, so I'll just use 11.3. All right, times the sine of 87.3. Okay, it's actually a pretty simple formula. All right. So I got 1/2 times 11.3 times 19.2 times sine of 87.3. Okay, and the area there is about 108. Okay, you can round. All right. Now, sometimes they will give you all the sides. All right. What you need to do is basically it's sort of like the average of the sides, but the formula is a little different. Where you add all these up, and you're going to divide by 2. So you have to figure out what your S is. Okay? All right? You have to figure out what your S is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all those up first. Be very careful that you add them all up first, get a number, and then divide by 2. All right? So my S is 138.5. Now what the formula says is it says take the square root of 138.5 times 138.5 minus 22 times 138.5 minus 25 times 138.5 minus 30. Now my recommendation, do the under part first, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what that number is. So 138.5 parentheses, 138.5 minus 22, 138.5. Wait, that doesn't seem right there. Hold on one second. 22 plus 25 plus 30. That's not right. Oops. 22 plus 25 plus 30. Okay. No, that's 38.5. Yeah, not 138. Oops. That would make sense. That makes sense. Hold on. Okay. So I got 38.5, not 138.5. So I got 38.5, that looked too big. But it's the same concept of 38.5 minus all of those amounts, all multiplied together. Okay? Once again, I would try to figure out the subtraction part first. So 38.5 minus 25, right? 38.5 minus 22. It doesn't matter the multiplication because it's all commutative anyway. Okay, so if I get that, I get this very huge number. Now I'm going to take the square root of this huge number, 2894. I'm going to use 2 decimals. Okay, so that area is approximately 270. Okay, so whatever you get, so I end up taking the square root just so you can see it written down of 72894 to 894.93. Okay, all right. Moving down to these last, we don't have many. It's not a very long test. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and also do number 12. Okay, because it's very much in the same lines of that one we just did. So I got to find, I have to add all these up and divide by 2 to figure out my S. Okay, all right. Got 25 plus 32 plus 19 divided by 2. Okay, this one is going to be just regular 38. Okay, once again, I'm doing 38 minus 25, 38 minus 32, 38 minus 19. Okay, I'm going to take the square root of whatever that result is. Find the under part first. So 38 times 38 minus 25, and 38 minus 32, all right, and parentheses 38 minus 19. Okay, so that's 563.16. 563.16. Oops, that's not the right number. So that's about 237 from an approximation standpoint. Okay. Now on this one, normally what you need to have is you need to have, if you have C, you have to have one of the other sides. Now what you have to do in order to use this formula, okay, I'm going to go ahead and round this a little bit. I'm going to round this to 98. I'm going to round this to 35. Okay. Now I know that angle C, it's going to be about 47. Okay. I know little c is 17.3. Now I can use any formula, but I'm going to need to get another side. So what I have to do before I can actually figure out the area formula is I should use law of sine. So I'm going to go ahead and find, let's say, I'm going to find little b. Okay, so 35 over little b. The only one I can set equal to is the one that says 47 over 17.3. That moves up, that moves over, that moves down. Okay. All right. So that's going to be 17.3 sine of 35 divided by the sine of 47. Okay. That's going to be 13.56. I'm just going to make this, since that one's a decimal, I'm just going to make this one 13.6. Okay, just to make it easy, as long as you're close in this. All right, so if I've got B and C, the only area formula, the angle I have to use is that one. So that's going to be 1/2, all right, 1/2 times 13.6 times 17.3 times the sine of 98, okay, all right. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 13.6 times 17.3 times sine of 98. All right, and that gives me 116.49. I'm just going to make this 116. As long as you're close, we're not going to be too picky. Okay, last problem. It says find the area of a triangular patio that has the sides of this. Okay, so this is basically your A, this is your B, this is your C. It's just like those other problems right there. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to first find out what my S is. Okay, 18 plus 20 plus 22, all divided by 2. My S is going to be 30. All right, same deal. What I want to do is 30, then 30 minus 18, 30 minus 20, 30 minus 22. If you want to leave the square root out, just so you don't make that mistake, it's probably a good idea. All right, And that way you don't have to worry about making a mistake there. So 30 minus 18. Okay, let the calculator do the subtraction. Saves you from making the mistakes. 30 minus 20. Okay. All right, 30 minus 22. All right, whoops, that's a 3. All right, 30 minus 22. Yeah, all right, so then I get that. So I'm going to take the square root of 28800. All right, and I'll take the square root of that, 28800, and I got about, I would say 170. Pretty close. Okay. All right, so that's the sample test. You will get a formula sheet, so you don't have to memorize the formulas. If you just practice that, you'll do fine.